To get started with lockdown, you just need to follow the steps in order from 1 through 9. First, you need to open up the lockdown script, which I've already done and docked here. Then you need to press the pre-compose button. This will take you into a comp. Lockdown will now be applied. Second, there's an optional tracking filter that sometimes gets better results when tracking. Third, select lockdown and place many points in your shot. Control, click, and drag to drag out an array of points. Control click or command click on Mac to drop points individually. I'm going to leave these effects on while tracking. Moving on to step 4, press to track points. Lockdown must remain selected while tracking. Now that we're done tracking, we don't need these effects anymore. The points look pretty good. Next, you interpolate your partial tracks. Choose a nice and flat frame that you would like to work on. I like the last frame. Auto-triangulate your mesh. And apply your mesh to stabilize. Now you can play the shot and see how stable your mesh is. This isn't perfect. At this point, I'd make notes of all the parts that are moving. Go to the frame where we stabilized. And add some new points to these areas. At this point, I'll clear my mesh, turn the tracking filter back on, and track again. Removing the tracking filter, triangulating, and applying to stabilize. It's looking better. You really want to add enough tracking markers that this mesh looks basically completely stable. Continue repeating this process until it is. Moving on to step 8, it says return to lockdown script. Go over here, and then you can press the lockdown button. After pressing this button, please wait for the pop-up confirmation, or else your interactions with After Effects could stop the script from functioning. At this point, your comp is set up. Starting in your main comp, you have your background. This is the original clip. Let's hide that. And then we have our stabilized comp. The motion has been returned in this shot to match with your background. However, when we enter this composition, everything is stabilized and easy to work with. There's a guide layer at the bottom. If you check, it's been freeze framed. This is to remind you of the frame that you stabilized on because your graphics are dependent on this frame. At this point, you can add graphics. There's your stabilized graphics and animation. And when we tab back out to the main comp, you can see your animation has been locked down. I'll put this back to 100%. This has been the Quick Start tutorial for those of you who are on a deadline and don't have time to listen to me talk all day. However, please check out the longer tutorials for more information on each of these steps.